Okay, recently I've been studying deeply about this. Yeah, we are entering into the chapter of right view, right? And then there is one sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 9, that actually exactly talking about right view. Yeah, and this link has part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is the discourse itself, right view. You can see how long this actually is. It was spoken by Venerable Sariputra. So this one, it takes like the wholesome and the unwholesome, the treatment, the Four Noble Truths. So the whole sutta talks about right view very detailedly. And this week I've been studying this really deeply. There were few resources that I'm going through. This one especially, a systematic study of the Majjhima Nikaya by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Okay, if we go find the right view, this one was here. You see, Sammaditthi Sutta, MN9. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. Scroll down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 audio. Each audio has 1 hour. Yeah? Around 1 hour. And then I go through the audio. Now I finished audio part 1. So these are all my notes. Audio part 1. I write down all the notes with the Pali, with the English. Sometimes I get the Chinese translation from past Shifu's classes. All this. Yeah, this is the part where I started with part 2. I write down all the words, the commentary, whatever is mentioned in the audio. Currently, I'm at part 3. Yeah, like around 10 minutes into part 3. Yeah. So this shows how deep the rabbit hole goes. And when studying this sutta deeply, I feel again the Dhamma joy. Like when sometimes I listen to the Dhamma and study the Dhamma, and sometimes something that like gets the puzzle fit in one by one. Yeah. So there was like rediscovery of the Dhamma joy that I used to have a lot initially when I started to explore Buddhism. And now I'm rediscovering it. Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm sharing this because we are going to review this chapter, right view. Yeah. But if you really want to study this deeply, there's many resources you can go through. There is one of them. There's also this publication by Bhikkhu Analayo. Right view and the sim of 4 truths. So he's comparing the Sammaditthi Sutta, the one that I showed you, and the Samyutta Agama, which is the Chinese version. This article alone is already 34 pages. But I plan to finish listening to the audio first, and then I will explore other stuff. Okay, anyway, back to our main material, reviewing. Chapter 2, Right View, Sammaditthi. We started off by grouping the 8 factors into 3 groups. The moral discipline group, made up of right speech, right action, right livelihood. Concentration group, made up of concentration group made up of right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. The last one, the wisdom group, right view and right intention. Each stage represents the corresponding stage in the higher training. The training in higher moral discipline, in higher consciousness, and higher wisdom. the order is this way because if you recall, the goal is to uproot ignorance, then the climax of the path is directly opposed to ignorance. Yeah. Okay. This is the training in wisdom designed to awaken the faculty of penetrative understanding, which sees things as they really are. Moral discipline is the foundation of concentration, concentration, the foundation for wisdom, and wisdom, the direct instrument for reaching liberation. If the groups are arranged this way, then perplexity sometimes arises. Why? Wisdom, which includes right view and intention, is the last stage in the threefold training, but the factors in the Noble Eightfold Path are placed at the beginning instead of the end. Here it mentioned that the sequence is not the result of careless sleep, but there is some logistical consideration involved. Why? Because right view and right intention are called for at the outset at the spur, to enter the threefold training. Right view provides us with the perspective, right intention, the sense of direction. But the two do not expire in this preparatory role. When the mind has been refined by discipline and by moral discipline and concentration, it arrives at the superior right view and right intention, which form the proper training in the higher wisdom. Another important thing is that we should look at the Noble Eightfold Path factors not as sequences, but also as components, and they influence and illuminate each other. It's not like you have to develop right view until 100%, then you go to right intention. You can develop each of the components at concurrently and in different sequences. Right view is the forerunner of the entire path, the guide for all the other factors. It is the starting point of our destination and the successive landmarks to pass as practice advances. This line is important. To attempt to engage in the practice without foundation of right view is to risk getting lost in the futility of undirected movement. Imagine if you're driving, and then you don't have the map and you don't have the location in your mind. You have never been to that place before. So you're just driving around and then hopefully you reach the place by chance or by luck. So that is like the analogy of doing practice without right view. Doing so might be compared to wanting to drive someplace without consulting a road map or listening to suggestions of a driver or asking around. One might get into the car, start to drive, but instead of reaching our goal, we more likely to drive even further away from it. So this shows the importance of right view. We have to have some idea of general direction and of the roads leading to it. For example, I took the MRT. I have to know, let's say I want to go from Toa Payoh to Buona Vista. I'm familiar with the map, so I know the direction of which one to take. So when I go to Toa Payoh MRT, I know, okay, let's take to the Bishan first. I have the general idea. I have the map in my mind because I consulted the map beforehand a long time ago. I have to go to Bishan, and then at the Bishan, I know I have to change to the yellow line with the direction to Buona Vista, yeah, instead of the other direction. Yeah? Imagine if I just go to the Toa Payoh MRT and then randomly, oh, left or right, flip a coin. Maybe if I take the right one, maybe it will reach. Yeah? Maybe I might reach by chance, but there's also a high chance that I would get lost and would not ever reach Buona Vista. One example. Any question or comments so far? Okay, if not, let's continue. The importance of right view can be gauged from the fact that our perspectives on the crucial issues of reality and value have a bearing that goes beyond mere theoretical convictions. They govern our attitudes, our action, our whole orientation to existence. They structure our perceptions, order our values, crystallize into the ideational framework through which we interpret to ourselves the meaning of our being in the world. These views then condition our actions. They lie behind our choices and goals, and our efforts to turn these goals from ideals into actuality. This line is pretty famous. The Buddha himself says that he sees no single factor so responsible for the arising of unwholesome states of mind as wrong view, and no factor so helpful for the arising of wholesome states of mind as right view. Again, he says there is no single factor so responsible for the suffering of living beings, the suffering of us as wrong view, and no factor so potent in promoting the good of living beings as right view. From Anguttara Nikaya 1:16.2. So what does right view includes or involves? In its fullest measures, right view involves a correct understanding of the entire Dharma or teaching of the Buddha. Its scope is equal to the range of Dharma itself. But for practical purposes, for the purpose of the Noble Eightfold Path, two kinds of right view stands out as primary. One is mundane right view, which operates within the confines of the world. The other one is supramundane right view, the superior right view, which leads to liberation from the world. The first one is about laws governing our material spiritual progress, which leads to higher and lower states of existence, to mundane happiness and suffering. The second one is more towards liberation. It's not only just about spiritual progress from life to life, but at full emancipation from the cycle of rebirth, recurring lives and death. For mundane right view, it involves a correct grasp of the law of karma, the moral efficacy of action. The second paragraph, karma, exploring the meaning of karma. The word karma here means action. This line is also important. What actually determines what action is relevant is, in Buddhism, it is volitional action, deeds expressive of morally determinate volitions, since it is volition that gives the action ethical significance. Yeah? Another translation of volition is will or intention. This line, monks It is volition that I call action. Having will, one performs an action through body, speech, or mind. How does this work? For example, one example that Shifu gave, an Arahant who was blind, occasionally he would step on an ant unintentionally. So in that case, because he was blind, he did not see the ant. When he stepped over the ant, he did not have the intention to step over the ant or kill the ant. So in that way, the action is not considered as killing. Yeah, there's no karma killing involved in this action because there were no intention from the Arahants at all. No intentions to kill the ants. Yeah, this. So even though the act happens, but when there's no volition, no intention behind it, we can say that the karma is different from someone who I heard some of my friends' mom, when they see the ants, they cannot tahan. They just wipe it away. Yeah. So there is a moral difference between these two. The example of the Arahant, or intentionally wiping all the ants away. The identification of karma with volition makes karma essentially a mental event, a factor originating in the mind, which seeks to actualize the mind's drives, dispositions, and purposes. Volition comes into being through any of the three channels, body, speech, or mind, called the three doors of actions. Yeah. From one single factor of volition, it differentiates into three types of karma, according to the channel through which it becomes manifest. Yeah. Whether it's through body, whether it's through speech, or it can be just through the mind. Okay, I think it's a good time to stop. Any questions or comment? Hey, if not, then let's do a dedication. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。Amitabha. Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a right Sunday ahead. Okay, thanks everyone for participating. See you guys next time. Oh yeah, Sakyan going to BL today. 10 a.m. Puja at Buddhist Library if you want to join.
Marcel, for the next few days, you will still continue, right?
Yeah.
Will there be a pause or anything?
I don't plan to.
Okay, so even Chinese New Year, you will still continue, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, can see you around.
See you around.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.